Used Cummins Ram trucks are selling for the same price as brand new half-tons right now. Guys are paying $35,000 for a 10-year-old diesel with 200,000 miles on it. But right next to those overpriced diesels, there are 3 Ram trucks under $15,000 that will serve you for years, and almost nobody is buying them. Number 1, the 2008 through 2011 Dodge Dakota. I bet half of you watching this forgot this truck even existed, and that is exactly why it is on this list. Dodge killed the Dakota after 2011 and never replaced it. No successor, no refresh, nothing. It just disappeared. And because nobody talks about it anymore, used prices dropped through the floor. This truck is truly underrated. Right now, you can find a V8 crew cab 4-wheel drive Dakota for $6,000 to $10,000. A Toyota Tacoma from the same years with less power and less towing capacity costs $4,000 to $6,000 more. That price gap exists for one reason. The Tacoma has a fan club. The Dakota does not. Think value, not stigma. Here is what makes this truck special. The Dakota was the only mid-size truck ever built with a V8 engine. The 2008 and newer models got a completely reworked 4.7-liter V8, making 302 horsepower. That is about a third more power than the older version. Chrysler basically rebuilt the whole top end of that engine, and it made a real difference. No other truck this size could touch it. It is genuinely unique. Towing capacity tops out at 7,250 pounds with the 3.92 rear axle. That is getting into full-size truck territory. I have talked to Dakota owners who tow travel trailers and boat rigs regularly, and they all say the same thing. People raise their eyebrows until they see the Dakota actually doing the work. Its towing ability surprises most people. But this truck does have one weakness that can kill the engine if you ignore it, and the fix costs about $6. Warning. Now here is the one thing you absolutely cannot skip on this truck. Oil changes. The 4.7 has a reputation for sludging up if you ignore the maintenance schedule, and that reputation is deserved. But the owners who run full synthetic 5W20 every 5,000 miles do not have that problem. I have personally seen these engines at 200,000 plus miles with clean internals because the owner just stayed on top of the oil. It is the cheapest insurance you can buy for this truck, a $6 quart of Mobil 1 versus a $4,000 engine replacement. Easy math. Remember oil. The other thing to watch for is the exhaust manifold bolts. Same issue as the Hemi trucks. Cast iron manifolds on aluminum heads with steel bolts that eventually snap from heat cycles. If you hear a ticking noise at cold startup that goes away when the engine warms up, that is probably your manifold bolts. Catch it early and it is a few $100s to fix. Let it go and the bolts break flush with the head, and now you are paying a machine shop to extract them. Check the manifold bolts early. One more tip. If you are shopping for one of these, buy from a southern state. Rust is the Dakota's biggest enemy. The door bottoms, rocker panels, and wheel arches rot fast in salt belt states. A clean southern truck with 100,000 miles is worth way more than a rusty northern truck with 60,000. Avoid rust. Here is what I would tell a friend to look for. A 2008 or newer crew cab, 4-wheel drive with the 4.7 V8 in SLT trim. Budget $6,000 to $10,000 for the truck and maybe another $1,000 for fresh fluids, a set of ball joints, and a thorough inspection. That gets you a capable V8 truck that nobody else even considered. But the next truck on this list makes the Dakota look famous by comparison. This one hides in plain sight, and the price gap is almost hard to believe. It really hides. Number 2, The 2003 through 2010 Ram 2500 with the 5.7-liter Hemi. This is the truck I think gets overlooked more than anything else in the entire Ram lineup. Every single person searching for a used Ram 2500 wants a Cummins diesel. I get it, the Cummins is a fantastic engine, but that demand has pushed diesel prices so high that the gas trucks sitting right next to them on the same lot are practically being given away. I pulled up listings last week just to check. A 2006 Ram 2500 Laramie with the Hemi and 217,000 miles was listed at just under $10,000. The same truck with the Cummins, $25,000 minimum. Everything underneath is identical. The frame, the axles, the brakes, the suspension. The only difference is what is bolted between the frame rails. And here is the part that kills me. The gas 2500 has the exact same heavy-duty hardware as the diesel. Solid front axle with coil springs, bigger brakes than the 1500. The truck is rated to handle over 8,800 pounds total. And because the Hemi weighs 700 to 1,000 pounds less than the Cummins, the gas truck actually carries more payload. We are talking 2,900 to 3,300 pounds of payload versus about 2,000 on the diesel. Towing capacity with the Hemi 2500 goes up to 13,350 pounds depending on the configuration. That covers the vast majority of what people actually tow: travel trailers, car haulers, horse trailers, equipment. If you are not pulling over 14,000 pounds on a regular basis, the gas truck does the job. If this is saving you from buying the wrong truck, hit subscribe. New Ram content drops every week. Now let me tell you about the maintenance side, because this is where the gas 2500 really pulls ahead. A diesel oil change at a dealer runs roughly $600. The Hemi, under $200. You skip all of it: diesel exhaust fluid, the particulate filter, the EGR system, the turbocharger, the $600 injectors. Gone. The Hemi burns regular 87-octane fuel, and any mechanic in the country can work on it. One guy on a Ram forum put it perfectly. He said you can put a whole engine in a gas truck for what a fuel system failure costs on the diesel. For the transmission, stick with the 545 RFE 5-speed automatic. It is proven, it is reliable, and rebuilds are reasonable at $2,500 to $4,500 if you ever need one. Change the fluid every 30 to 60,000 miles with the correct ATF plus 4, and it will go a long time. I would avoid the 66 RFE 6-speed that came in 2012 and later. That transmission has known valve body issues, and rebuilds run significantly more. The front end will need attention at some point. These solid axle trucks are known for the death wobble, which is violent steering shake at highway speed caused by worn track bar bushings, ball joints, or tie rod ends. It sounds scary, and trust me, it feels scary too. But the fix is simple. New track bar, fresh ball joints, and upgraded steering components run about $500 to $1,000 and solve it permanently. Best years to look for are 2006 through 2009 with the 5-speed automatic. The ideal truck is a crew cab or mega cab, 4-wheel drive, with 3.73 or 4.10 rear gears for towing. Expect to pay $7,000 to $13,000. Budget another $1,500 for fluid changes and a front-end refresh on any high-mileage truck, and you have a heavy-duty Ram that will work hard for years. And the last truck on this list might be the best deal of all three. It is the truck everybody skips because of one word that scares them off. Number 3, the 2009 and 2010 Ram 1500. The 2009 Ram 1500 was a complete ground-up redesign. Ram threw out the old frame, the old suspension, the old interior, everything, and started from scratch. That word, redesign, is exactly why people avoid it. First-year truck must be full of bugs, right? I thought the same thing when these started showing up in the shop, but after working on them for over 15 years now, I can tell you these trucks are far better than their reputation suggests. The big innovation was the rear suspension. Ram ditched the old leaf springs and went with a 5-link coil spring setup. It was the first full-size truck to ever do that. I remember the first time I drove one off the lot after a repair, and I thought something was wrong because it rode so smooth. It was immediately better than anything Ford or Chevy had at the time. That coil spring design is now the standard that Ram still uses today because it worked that well from day one. I personally think this is the truck where Ram started taking the fight to Ford and Chevy seriously, and the engine under the hood backs that up. The 5.7-liter Hemi in these trucks makes 390 horsepower and 407 pound-feet of torque. This is the newer, improved version of the Hemi, not the early one from 2003 that had weak valve springs. I know guys running these engines well past 250,000 miles on original internals. One customer of mine traded in his 2009 at 255,000 miles. The engine was still running strong. He only got rid of it because he wanted a newer interior. Towing capacity is 9,100 pounds on the 2009, and it jumps to 10,450 on the 2010. Ram did not change the hardware between those years. They just retested and got a higher rating. The trucks are mechanically identical, so the 2009 can physically handle the same loads for less money. So why is this truck so cheap? 3 reasons. First, people see 2009 and think first-year problems. Second, Chrysler filed for bankruptcy that same year, and buyers worried about parts and warranty support. Third, the 2009 still wears the Dodge badge instead of Ram, which means it literally does not show up when people search for a Ram 1500 on car buying websites. That last one alone keeps thousands of potential buyers from ever seeing these trucks. Prices right now sit between $5,600 and $13,000. A Hemi Crew Cab 4-wheel drive with leather is regularly going for $8,000 to $12,000. That is a 390 horsepower V8 full-size truck for the price of a used sedan. This is a real bargain if you know what to look for. Now, none of these issues are deal breakers if you know about them going in. The exhaust manifold bolts will crack eventually, same as every Hemi. Catch it early, and it is a $300 to $800 fix. The blend door actuator behind the dashboard makes a grinding noise around 50,000 miles, but that is a $20 to $40 part you can swap yourself through the glove box opening. And make sure the rear axle pinion nut recall has been completed before you buy. Dealers still do that work for free. The bigger one to know about is the TIPM electrical module. It can cause random no-start conditions and weird electrical gremlins. Before you spend $1,000 on a replacement, try the relay bypass fix. You solder a new relay directly onto the board for about $20 in parts, and it works. If I were buying one tomorrow, I would look for a crew cab 4-wheel drive with the Hemi in SLT or Laramie trim. Grab the 3.92 rear axle if you tow, and the 3.55 if you do not. Like I said with the Dakota, Southern trucks are the move here too. Budget about $1,500 on top of the purchase price for a full fluid service and inspection, and you are set. Every one of these trucks is cheap because of a perception problem, not a mechanical problem. That gap between perception and reality is where the deals live. If you want to see which Ram model years to avoid completely so you do not end up with the wrong truck, that video is on screen right now. I will see you in the next one.